Ciao people, I'm Allegra. Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And today, this video is about buying pre-loved Chanel specifically. I mean, they apply to pre-loved luxury bags in general, these tips, but Chanel specifically. And so I was able to get two amazing bags for $700, for under 700 almost. And I wanted to share how I did it. So let's just get down to the luxury, shall we? So these are the two bags, and I recently got them both, and they're both pre-loved, of course. They're both also vintage, so you can't get these in store anymore. And yeah, I've got my notes down, and let's just get into the bags. So this is the first bag, which is the vintage Chanel Vanity case in pink caviar leather and gold hardware. And this is from 2003 to 4 because it's a 9 series. And yeah, it's in pretty good condition. There is a little bit of like the bottom, like dirt is all mine, but there is a little bit of like brown wear on the corners, and there is this patch of black dots on the caviar here. I'm not sure if the color has worn out or if I can clean it. I've not tried. The inside is pretty much, I have a bunch of stuff in here, but the inside is pretty much clean. The only thing is that the fabric piping has gone a little yellow, and yeah, it came with this card thing. It's not an authenticity card. This piece did not come with an authenticity card. And the leather lining inside is completely fine, no wear, no tear. It does say made in France on the inside, and there is some wear and tear, like little rips in the back where it sort of hinges the flap, and yeah, that's about it. The hardware is in good condition. Everything's great. It totally works. The handle is great. And I would say this is in very good to excellent condition at least. So that's the first piece. The second piece I got is this vintage Medallion tote, and also caviar leather in the 2003 to 4 9 series pink. And this is also in really good condition. It did have some corner wear on these two corners. Other than that, it's pretty good, and the inside was pristine. It came with everything. This did not come with a box. It came with the dust bag and the authenticity card, which is all that matters to me, really. And yeah, there's not much to it. It does not have feet, and they're both vintage and pink. So those are the two bags. So starting off with the vanity case, so this piece is actually really sought after at this point in time. It's become kind of popular just because there are the new vanity cases that Chanel has redesigned and relaunched, and there is one that looks pretty much like this but with a strap. So the vintage ones, these ones actually are like pretty in demand now, which obviously did raise the resale prices of these pieces, the vintage ones. So I was able to get this one from Vestiaire Collective, and I got it for a good price. I will share the price with you, of course. And so this piece, okay, so the number one tip that I learned from purchasing this piece for a really, really good deal is that you should always shop pre-loved luxury, especially if it's vintage, from websites or sellers that are open to negotiation. So Vestiaire Collective, unlike Fashion File and like unlike The Real, I think, Vestiaire Collective lets you make offers. So I was able to make an offer to the seller who was selling this for $9,900 something, close to $1,000, and I made them an offer for $700, and they accepted. And so that's how I was able to get it at a good price. So yeah, that's the number one thing I would recommend, is purchasing from a platform that lets you negotiate with sellers, whether that be eBay or Vestiaire or like an individual private seller on Facebook, whatever it is. The second big lesson to learn from this piece specifically is the fact that not all pre-loved and definitely not all vintage pieces come full set. So if you want something really specific, like I wanted this vanity case and I wanted it in the pink caviar from 2003-4, the 9 series, and so those are really specific specifications, and you will not be able to find like hundreds of them on the pre-loved market. So you have to be more flexible with what you want. Of course, the preference is full set, or at least dust bag and authenticity card. But if you cannot get those, then just make sure you know what you're okay with compromising on, and make sure you know how to authenticate the item without it. So this piece came without the authenticity card, which played a big role in lowering the price. And if this was with an authenticity card, I'm pretty sure it would not go for under 900. But this piece did not have an authenticity card. And the thing is, I was okay with that because Vestiaire does authenticate its items in-house before the seller sends it to you. And like the seller will send the item to them and they will send it to you. So I was pretty confident in that, and in addition to that, I also know of authenticators that I use that only charge $10 to $15 max, and they're able to authenticate these types of items very, very easily. So for that reason, I was okay with giving up the authenticity card, and especially if it's a piece you really want, and if it's like a low price piece, like under 1,000 maybe, or under 2,000 even for Chanel, and you know it's something you'll keep for a long time, then it's okay to compromise on the dust bag or the authenticity card, or maybe the sticker inside it has worn off, and that will almost always guarantee you a really, really good price. So that's the second thing that you should consider when looking for a good deal online or anywhere on pre-loved items. The third thing is wear. So of course, we all know that wear and tear will lower the price of an item, obviously. But the key to choosing how much wear and tear you're okay with is to look for items that might have a little bit of wear and tear, but in an area that is not visible. So this item has some black dots on the bottom here, but it's on the bottom and it does not have feet. So it's not likely something that you will notice or observe very often. So I was okay with accepting that. And the other type of wear that would be okay is wear on the inside of the bag. So the little rips, or if there was like an ink stain or makeup stain or whatever, I would also be okay with that, because again, this is pre-loved and it's giving you a really good deal if you're able to accept some of these flaws. So with this piece also had some like yellow stain on it that I was able to clean off, but somehow the reseller hadn't thought of cleaning it. And also it has some type of wear, some rubbing on the corners. So it does have corner wear on two corners, and it had that yellow like staining, or it's kind of like rust transferred off of metal onto leather or fabric. I'm not sure, but I was able to clean it off. Well, anyway, so the key to the wear point is that you have to be okay with knowing what kind of wear and tear will depreciate the value while keeping the look of the item basically unharmed. And B, you have to remember that we're trying to look for deals here. We're looking for Chanel level drip on Coach prices. So you're not going to get the most perfect pieces, but I would say just go with it and just try to be more flexible when you're looking for deals and when you're looking for specific vintage pieces. But yeah, so that's my view on wear and tear. So moving on to how I was able to get this bag for 700 or a little bit under actually. because this one is much more a bag and much more significant, I would say, than the Vanity case. And so, okay, so the Medallion Tote, it is discontinued. It's a vintage piece, and this is the 9 Series Pink, as I said. So the key with this piece was to know where to buy vintage Chanel from. So vintage Chanel, okay. Vintage Chanel is a way different story than other brands like vintage Hermes and vintage Gucci. So if you don't know, the biggest vintage Chanel reseller, like not a person, but the resale like area or region of the world is in Japan. Japan has literally hundreds of brick and mortar stores in the streets of Tokyo that just sell vintage Chanel and pre-loved Chanel, just like by the tons. They just have hundreds and thousands of bags displayed in their store of just vintage pieces. And these aren't even bags that are like really beat up or anything. Most of them are in really good condition, but the catch is that most of them are really high prices. Like if you're going there to find a specific vintage piece, great. It's like the perfect place for it. But if you're going there to buy a piece at a deal, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because the pieces are like on par with boutiques or store prices because these are such hard to find good condition vintage pieces. So, yeah, the key is not to go into these brick and mortar vintage stores, but to buy them online. So, a lot of these vintage stores, the sellers, the Japanese sellers, are on eBay and they're on this website called Rakuten, which is a Japanese website that sells that lets Japanese resellers sell on this website and they're able to ship it out to anywhere in the world. So this bag I got from Japan from a reseller, but I did not personally go to Japan myself. I was able to place an order on Rakuten, and yeah, like the thing with that is that if you're like somewhere that has higher duties like Canada, then yes, you might want to like ship it to the US or something, but the price of the pieces themselves are really, really low if you're able to find a good deal. And Rakuten and even eBay sometimes has coupons, or they'll have something like a $50 off of $1,000 or something like that. So if you find a piece, you're able to sort of like wait for these deals and get these coupons or cashback or whatever that is, whatever it may be. And the other thing that you can do on Rakuten and on eBay is you can talk to these sellers. So you're able to negotiate the price with them, with a reseller who A is Japanese, and so you can trust their authenticity, but B, you're able to negotiate the prices with them. So it's basically the best of all worlds. And so if you're ever looking to buy vintage Chanel, like do not just go to Real Real, do not go to Fashion File, do not go to these American or even British like resale websites because they jack the prices up. I was able to get this bag basically in excellent condition for $700 with the authenticity card and dust bag. So that's all I'm saying is if you want a deal and if you want to get that Chanel level drip at that Coach level prices, girl, then you have to look out for deals and you have to know where to find these deals that aren't the mainstream Fashion Files and Real Reals of the world. Fashion File does have good sales though, so like keep an eye out for that. But if you're just generally looking all year round, then Rakuten, I will leave it down below. But if you're in the US, then it's a gold mine. That's all I'll say. It's a gold mine for Chanel, and you need to check it out like today. So that's how I was able to get this bag for under $700. And I mean, isn't she great? Like, even if this isn't the most practical bag, I mean, she fits a ton, but she's hard to like carry over the shoulder because it's a really short strap drop. And yeah, like even if this isn't the most practical bag, it's a good bag and it's Chanel and it's pink and it's in great condition for $700. Like, you can't even get a card holder for $700. I mean, okay, you can, but you can't even get a wallet for $700 at Chanel right now. You can't even get shoes for $700. This is a whole bag, and it's pink for $700. So that's a major win in my book. And so, yeah, just remember Rakuten and remember eBay. The only thing with eBay is that you have to remember to always go to an authenticator and authenticate the piece with photos before you purchase it. Because I do not trust the refund policy on eBay. Like, honestly, I'm not okay with that. But the other thing is, if you're going with a Japanese reseller, just Google their name and see if they have a brick and mortar store, which 80% of them do. And if you find it, then you're basically guaranteed an authentic bag, because Japanese resellers, the laws in Japan are really, really strict, and you're super unlikely to get screwed out of your money. So, yeah. Happy shopping and grab yourself a piece like this. The last bonus trick or tip that I want to share with you is Facebook groups. So there's Facebook groups that are Chanel dedicated, and they're administrated by some really awesome, really strict ladies, and they're a good place to find some deals. So I'll leave some links down below for you to join them. But the thing to remember with that is always use PayPal always use PayPal goods and services. Do not pay with friends and families. Ask the seller to invoice you. I know it costs 3 to 4% extra, but it's very, very worth it. So goods and services, PayPal, first thing. And the second thing is to always get an authentication service to authenticate your bag before you pay the invoice. So go on Real Authenticate, or just get it authenticated, $10 to $15, it's worth it. The other good place to find deals is Fashion File, but only when they have sales. So if you're looking for a piece and you know it's like Christmas time or 4th of July time, then Fashion File are going to have sales, or they're going to have those cashback or discounts over 1,000 or whatever it is. And that is a good time to take advantage of Fashion File. But other than that, Fashion File prices are really, really marked up because they are a big business. They do have to make money. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend Fashion File other than these sales. So those were my tips on how I got these two pink bags for under $700 each. And if you are looking for some pieces and they happen to be vintage, or they happen to be a little older than like last season, then do check out some of these Facebook groups or Rakuten or whatever it is. And I hope this video helped you out. I hope you're able to get the piece of your dreams at the price of your dreams. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it when you subscribe or like my video, because it really helps a sister out. And I hope you have the happiest week. Happy shopping.